Candles have a long and interesting history in religious worship, magic, and folklore. They light the way to the sacred, they dispel the forces of darkness, they are associated with ghosts and the dead, they can find buried treasure, and they play a role in incubated dreaming. The origins of candles is not known, but there is evidence that beeswax candles were used in Egypt and Crete as early as 3000 BCE. Ancient peoples observed that candle flames revealed mysterious things. By staring into the flame, one could enter an altered state of consciousness and see gods and spirits, or see the future. The late Egyptians of about the 3rd century used lamps and possibly candles in a magic ritual for dreaming true, or obtaining answers from dreams. The individual retired to a dark cave facing south and sat and stared into a flame until he saw a god. He then lay down and went to sleep, anticipating that the god would appear in his dreams with the answers he sought. Ancient pagans used candles and lamps in religious observances, a practice that the Roman Christian theologian Tertullian vehemently protested as the useless lighting of lamps at noonday. By the 4th century, both candles and lamps were part of Christian rituals, but it was not until the latter part of the Middle Ages, from the 12th century on, that candles were placed on church altars. The Catholic Church established the use of consecrated holy candles in rituals of blessings and absolving sins, and in exorcising demons. During the witch hunts of the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, inquisitors' handbooks such as Malleus Maleficarum prescribed holy candles as among those consecrated objects for preserving oneself from injury of witches. Farmers used holy candles to protect their livestock from danger and bewitchment. According to prevailing law during the witch hunts, witches were said to light candles at their sabbats as offering of fidelity and loyalty to the devil, who was often portrayed as wearing a lighted candle between his horns. The witches lit their candles from the devil's candle. Sometimes he lit the candles and handed them to his followers. It is believed that witches made perverse use of candles in putting curses on individuals. In black magic, candles made of human fat were believed to contain lifelong energy, and supposedly were used in the black masses in the 17th century and other black magic rituals. The Petit Albert of the 18th century grimoire claims that a magic candle made of human tallow would disclose buried treasure. The treasure seeker took the candle into a cave or subterranean location. When the candle began to sparkle brightly and hiss noisily, treasure was at hand. The nearer the treasure, the more intensely burned the candle, until it went out at the exact spot. Treasure hunters were advised to carry long lanterns with consecrated candles, not only for light, but to conjure the spirits of the dead men who were said to guard the buried treasure. These spirits were to be summoned in the name of God and promised anything in order to help them find a place of untroubled rest. At the turn of the 19th century, Francis Barrett, author of the Magus, wrote that candles made of some subterranean things such as a man's fat and marrow and the fat of a black cat with the brains of a cow or crow or even raven, which being extinguished in the mouth of a man lately dead, will afterwards, as often as it shines alone, bring great horror and fear upon the spectators about it. In folklore, candles have strong association with the dead, perhaps dating back to old Jewish customs, later adopted by Christians, of lighting candles for the dying and the dead. A lit candle placed by the bedside of a dying person is believed to frighten away demons. One Jewish custom calls for keeping the lit candle for a week in the room where a person died, perhaps to purify the air. In American folklore, however, a candle burning in an empty room will cause the death of a relative. Superstitions about candles hold that a guttering candle means that someone in the house is about to die, and a candle that burns blue means that a ghost is nearby. In some Wiccan rituals, consecrated white candles are placed on altars at the 4 quarters of a magic circle. If a ritual calls for it, candles are placed at the points of a pentagram. Candles are used in many magical spells, and each colour has its own vibration, attribute, symbolism, and influences. In angel magic, coloured candles are used to work with principal angels. The colour white is used to work with Uriel. The term Uriel means fire of God, and Uriel was the archangel of prophecy. He is also regent of the sun and in charge of all natural phenomena such as floods and earthquakes. In Jewish legend, Uriel warned Noah of the imminent flood. He is also overseer of hell. Uriel could be called upon to help with creative activities. Following orders from the buffoon known as Boris Johnson, the clapping British public dutifully lit their candles to remember coronavirus. And whilst at best many of those participating fools were merely virtue signalling, at worst were taking part in some ritual of candle magic calling upon angels that oversee hell.